Houston Astros, they're back, kind of, sort
What you
of.
doing? What y'all doing?
Pitching, not bad.
You know what that? You know what they are? You know what they are, bro? You know how some people they'll go to work early in the morning, but they don't really get to doing shit until like 10. That's what the Astros are.
Sit there, eat breakfast, and get on their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Astros offense is abysmal outside of Altuve.
Okay. I'm with you because I'm pretty sure at some point of this here video the notion's going to be brought up like it's still early. We don't panic. What are you worried about? Because we've heard it a million times, bro.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree with that statement. Don't panic. It's still early. But that does not mean I can't be frustrated. And I am very frustrated with how we're swinging the bat. Today we're doing much better.
Yeah.
But still.
I think like for an Astro fan, like when I tell them, it's like, if this wasn't a reoccurrence of last year, like it wasn't happening last year, then I wouldn't be like overreacting. But you brought new people in, like we've said off camera before, you brought guys in to help this problem. You shipped guys out, and you got different coaches and this and that for your staff, and the problem still seems to be there. And I know I did read that they're bringing the new torpedo bats. I don't know who's going to use them and all that stuff.
Bro, so, this may not be a very liked statement what I'm about to make, but like it could just be me. It could just be me. But I've heard because I listen to a lot of sports radio. I've heard people hate on Dana Brown for what's going on. Dana Brown has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on whether or not Yordan hits the fucking ball. You know what I'm saying? And granted, like some of the players he brought in hasn't done anything, and some of them have done well. But regardless, it is not his fault. It is not Espada's fault. Maybe he could have done things differently in hindsight, but it's still not his fault because I do feel like he's doing his best to cycle through the lineups, find out who fits where, who's got a hot bat, and who's just doing anything. So I can't blame Espada. In comparison to 2024 to 2025, it looks like we came out more motivated. And, good base hit, Tuve. So I cannot blame Espada for what's going on here. I'm going to blame Troy Snideker, the hitting coach, because in my personal opinion, you haven't done shit since you've been here. If we're being quite honest, I think this is his 6th or 7th year. Our best hitting team was 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
Even though we've had success since, those weren't teams that got there on the back of offense. It was pitching. 2021, when we lost to the Braves, we couldn't hit. 2022, we got there on pitching, and it took big clutch hits for us to get there. 2023, we lost to the Rangers. We just weren't hitting. Last year was abysmal. Like the Tigers helped. You know what I'm saying? So as a hitting coach, what the fuck do you do? And I blame you, Snideker, because I watched the Astros play all year, and what I see is players approaching at bats with their personality, meaning I don't feel as though there is a plan of attack on particular pitchers. He's just sending people out there, and then their habits and the way that they bat are taken over. Altuve's erratic, so he's been erratic. Paredes been disciplined. He's been disciplined. But I don't see anything constructive to where they collectively have a game plan against somebody. That's the hitting coach to me.
No, that I agree. I mean, we've talked about it where it's like a lot of people are giving a lot of flack to Walker, Paredes, Smith, and all that stuff. Walker had an oblique injury. He didn't get spring. So I'm like we've said, I'm going to kind of give you because he's making contact. 100 mile per hour is off of the ball. Like that's ridiculous. Paredes, even though it hasn't been the best, he even said, I'm trying to be patient. So, because it's a long season, and so he's like,
I have no issue with what Paredes is doing. Yeah. I love what Paredes is doing because the Paredes style of batting, meaning like he's disciplined, he's not just going to go up there and swing at the first three, is giving Yordan a better chance to see what he's doing. I actually feel like Yordan was on his period for the first few games. Like he was just being a bitch. I really feel that way. Sorry for using that word for people who don't cuss as much as I do, but I really feel there's just no other way to describe what Yordan was doing in my opinion, because today he got to play left field and he actually did pretty well with the bat, which means you were just pouting to me. And Paredes allowing you to see pitches helped you because you're the best left-handed hitter in baseball. So I have no issue with Paredes. I stand by your statements on Walker also, because there's going to be a point in time where that motherfucker get going and whew.
Yeah, I think what people get scared with Walker is they remember Abreu and they're like, oh, here we go again. But I'm not going to give that to him because, I mean, one, his defense is way better. Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully the offense picks up. I mean, whether it's torpedo bats, whether it's funneling through the lineup of finding who's a hot hand. Because you said it the other day when Blummer was talking about like, oh, it's McCormick's having to fight for his spot. Yeah, you should. You should have to fight for your spot. The same way Jake Myers did, the same way Smith is, the same way DeZenzo, all these guys. Who wants it? Who wants it more? Your defense, your offense, one of these is going to have to shine for you to get the spot and secure it over the other. It's open for the taking. Somebody start hitting balls and he's going to play you because we saw it against the Mets. There was that lineup where we did absolutely nothing and he replaced like 4 or 5 of the guys the next day. And we're like, no, we're going to change it up. And so that's why I said, I don't blame a spot. I don't blame Dana. Dana's job is to get these guys here. It's your guys' job to play the damn game.
And what's frustrating to me is everything that we were worried about hasn't seemed to be an issue yet.
Yeah.
Everything that we were counted on is the problem. So, like, what the hell, man? Like,
yeah, Yordan, we were like, oh, he's going to come out swinging. He's been healthy.
But not only that, it was like, oh, is our pitching good enough? Well, it could have done better, but everybody's gone 5 innings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got good starts from everybody. Can Altuve play left field? There's a player or two I wish he'd have did differently, but it really hasn't been an issue to me. Can Smith play the outfield? Yeah, the kid's picking it up. DeZenzo's picking it up. So the things we were worried about seem to not be an issue, but it's like, hit a ball, bro. It's so frustrating you leave that many people on base. It's like last season all over again. It's like punishing me. Like when my mom used to send me to my room and then I'd come out and do the same shit again. And she's like, do you not learn? And it's like, I thought I did, but I guess I didn't, because it was just too enticing.
Yeah. I mean, and we looked at the numbers. 2019, we started off the same, 2 and 3, I believe. I think we had like 9 hits in like 5 games or something like that, which was ridiculous. So, I mean, today it's been better. We're losing at the moment 5-3, but it's one of those things where you're seeing something, but I do feel like if this is a continuation of a trajectory type of thing, something needs to be done and all that stuff, because we were talking about it yesterday's game. Your bottom of your lineups outdoing some of your better hitters in the middle part of your lineup, and it's like, what is going on here? Like
you're 8, 9, and 1 were on fire, and nobody else was doing anything. And the damn one hitter is the dang craziest of them all. Like, that's the person we're trying to get home, and we're expecting him to drive and run. You're in a bad way at that point, man.
Yeah. I mean, they're lucky that a lot of good teams are struggling also, it seems like, but that only goes so far because the better teams figure it out and go on and start building that resume of good wins. Whereas
I wonder who actually would use a torpedo bat on our team. I have a feeling like a Chaz would.
Yeah.
I could see somebody like him.
It'd be like Dubon or something.
I mean, I ain't tripping. Do it. Everybody else is gonna do it. It's just gonna be a thing here pretty soon. If the league was gonna go away with it, they would have made a bigger deal than it is. Yeah. It's gonna be a thing moving forward. So if say what you want about the torpedo bat, it ain't going nowhere. Use it to your advantage.
And like I feel like if you want to try it. I mean, some of these guys, at this point, man, you need to try whatever you can because some of these guys can't hit the side of a barn with nothing. It's like, bro, like some of these swings that we're seeing are golf swings again, like reaching and all that stuff. Like it's just something needs to change because, I mean, the division is not too bad. Rangers at 5-2, and then I believe it's the Mariners or the Angels.
I always tell you, give them 20 games. After 20 games, that's what you are. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what you are. Because you like, even with the starters, like I've seen a lot of habit, not necessarily bad habits, but like I have a good idea of what we can be. And I have an even better idea of where we're at. That's what bothers me so much, because it still looks like the first day of spring training sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, injuries, of course. I mean, luckily you'll get some guys back. I mean, Christian, Javier, and them are on 60-day IL. So you won't get them back till later on in the season. So it's just one of those things where it's like play it by ear. You'll get Lance though soon.
No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. I don't think you'll see Lance McCullers pitch for Astros in the majors again. Not after that bullshit he did, that 38 pitch. Listen, no disrespect to some of those guys that he was pitching to, but they'll never sniff AAA, much less the majors, and you're getting scored on. Fuck you, dog. I haven't got time for this.
They just sent him down to Corpus, and
the only thing that made my stomach hurt even more than that is I literally on sports radio heard today somebody say, "Oh, you know, Houston's bullpen is pretty good, especially if they could get it to the back end with minimal damage, and they're going to be even better when Forrest Whitley and Ort come back." And I was like, I know they just say that on radio, because that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Nobody even knows what Whitley is.
Yeah. I like how they said Caleb Ort, but it's like trying to throw Whitley in there. It's like, come on, bro. Like, let's be honest. Like, Dana literally came out and said, bro, yeah, this is it. Like, he's like,
and the only other thing that like sticks out to me, like habitual behavior from last year, and I want to give this dude the benefit of the doubt because I do see a little bit of improvement. It's the way that damn Yonner catches. Like, for instance, there was a play the other day. I forgot who was batting, but it was 2-2 count, and I don't remember who was pitching. Long story short, he tried to get dude to chase off the plate. The dude checked his swing. The umpire called ball, and Yonner was like, no, and he appealed it, and they called dude out on a strike. And I was like, that's shit that he wasn't really doing last year. So I appreciate that. But then I watch games where like Wisniewski is like, your stuff looks good, you just can't really find the strike zone. Like, then I would watch Abreu like the first couple outings. It's like, bro, you're on fire. You actually need to temper it back a little bit so you can find the strike zone, because you're very reliant on this umpire to help you, but you're not getting it. The point I'm trying to make is I feel like Yonner's still having a hard time with like the play calling of being a catcher. Like, there's just sequences that he should do to try to help that pitcher set that batter up that he's just not doing. Like, he doesn't know. Yeah. And then I watched Caratini catch one game and it was there, and I was like, oh, we didn't have this problem. We had, like, you fixed the problem from yesterday and then it came back. So I just don't know if Yonner's prepared to be a real World Series catcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like the art of catching a baseball, calling a game, like that's still a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know how important a pitch count is, especially come playoffs, come World Series, all that. So it's like you missing a play could be 5-6 pitches that you just didn't save in your pitcher's arm. Like, it just comes down to that, and it's going to be a key thing. I mean, I applaud him for getting better at it. I still would not be surprised if Fromber gets moved still, if people get moved around. Let's
just be honest. Would you dangle, like, if you're closer to the deadline, would Yonner Diaz be one of those players you'd be willing to dangle out there to get a massive trade done?
Yes.
I would be interested to know what you could get with the Yonner and Fromber package. Like, I believe you could get a really good pitcher.
Yeah. And like, that's my thing. Like, I mean, no offense to Yonner.
People are going to hate you for asking that question. I just know it. I'm not saying I want to trade Yonner. I'm just saying The reason that I would entertain that idea is because you're a one-trick pony to me, and I have an immediate replacement for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, being honest, most of our World Series wins came off of not big blast offensive things. And if you're not hitting on offense, then you're just a catcher. You're not a.
Yep.
You're not like your skill.
I told you, bro. He reminds me, like he literally just struck out as we were talking.
I know.
He reminds me of Gary Sanchez. Is like you're serviceable as a catcher, and we're relying on your elite bat. So, like you just said, if you're not hitting, then you're kind of useless to me.
Yeah, because when he's hitting, he's on fire. Dude is one of the best, especially at that position to hit. When you're not, it's just like at least let that be above subpar, like catching.
And
like,
I don't even want to say dangle him out there like I'm trying to get rid of him or whatever, but like last year we had an out. We could have put you at first. You're not about to take first base from Christian Walker ever. So
like this,
if you're not catching, you have no use to me. And if I have a catcher who I think is better, it's just going to be kind of a strange feeling if you get to the playoffs and the dude's catching abilities are so like brought to light that the spot is in a position where he's like, bro, you just have to sit the fuck down. Like you, and I got to play Caratini. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a bad look on a spotter to have Yonder on the bench. But hey, this is like you said, bro. I stand pat on the fact that we won 2 World Series and went to 4 on the back of guys who could just be elite at catching, call a game in an elite manner. Like that's more important than what you could do with the bat.
That pitching's important and come playoffs and World Series. All right. Your last minute words, Zach. Got a wake up call for somebody.
It's still a wake up call for anybody. Yeah, Yordan, bro. Like I still gonna give Christian Walker the out with the oblique injury, but he's still doing pretty good. Yeah, Yordan, you have to perform, bro. Yeah, you have to go be the best hitter on this team. You should go out there with the mindset like, fuck it, they won't let me play outfield. I'm gonna still be the star of this team, and go crush balls.
Because like when you play him at DH, your goal is to hit, and you're not doing it.
I get why Rockets fans get pissed off about Jalen Green because I feel it with Yordan. Like I think there is a little bit of a nonchalant attitude he has to himself. Not that he doesn't care, but I don't see the fire in your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see the motivation to prove me wrong, and then that bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I can agree with that. I mean, it's one of those, next time. It's like, no, exactly. Not next time, dude. We're freaking 6 games in. Like, come on, man.
He had a good game today, though. So, but still, Yordan. You can't beat us if Yordan's on fire. He's just that good, bro. He's just that good.
That's the
because the other team is so, bro. There's 8 people they got to see before they get back to Yordan, but the whole time that's all they're thinking about is Yordan. And it gives everybody else a chance to get in them sneak punches. You know what I'm saying? Like kick him in the back, kick him in the head. You got to go do it, Yordan.
Yeah. Astro fans.
Other than that, we're good.
Yeah.
Good.
I said, take a breath.
Patiently wait to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Like Zach said, 20 games, 1 more.
The lucky ring already.
Oh, yeah, I saw. It's early. But,
I had to pull the lucky ring out.
I said we need to get some wins, so I'm not mad at it. All right, guys. If you made it to this point, like, subscribe, drop all your questions down below. We got you covered. If you like this stuff, let us know what else you want to talk about. You drop a comment, we like it, we may do a video on it. Who knows? Other than that, all love Houston. Astros, get your bats up. We out. Later.
Deuce.